Okay, our first disclaimer is that an online degree from the University of Arizona Global Campus does not lead to immediate teacher licensure in any state. And if you want to become a classroom teacher, you will have to contact your individual state's education authorities prior to enrolling here to determine what you will need to meet your state's requirement. We will let you read that for just a second. Okay, and our next disclaimer just states that UAGC does not provide any of the links, other websites, any institutions. They are not responsible for anything that we are sharing today, including pictures, videos, resources, and things like that. All right. So I just introduced my colleague and co-director of this conference, Dr. Stephanie Hild. You are going to be amazed at her presentation because she is so tech savvy and has so many great ideas. I am so glad you're here for her presentation. So I am so excited and honored to be able to introduce her today. Dr. Stephanie Hild is an assistant professor at UAGC. She has a PhD in education, an MS in education, a BA in elementary education, an AAS in early childhood education. She also holds a dual advanced certificate in building and district level admin leadership from St. John's University, where she graduated Kappa Delta Pi. Her journey has since included classroom teaching, coaching teachers, facilitating professional development, leading district and countrywide literacy initiatives, and instructing students in traditional and online courses. While moving to 5 different states as in many years, Stephanie immersed herself in the local schools in addition to connecting online with educators across the world. And I can tell you the information that you're going to learn from her today is top notch. It's something you're going to want to take with you and use. So Dr. Hild, the floor is yours. Thank you so much for being our first presenter.
I have to tell you, I am thrilled. We had this idea 5 years ago and we really weren't sure where we were going with it. And here we are. This is our biggest yet, and we are just really excited to be here. I recognize so many names, but I also don't recognize a lot of names, which is super cool. We have people in the chat in the beginning, we have people coming from all over the US. And fitting enough, the first presentation for this year is actually connecting virtual tools in the early childhood classroom. So without this virtual network, we would not be here today. And I'm so thankful for it. And I hope just in this quick little half hour, I can inspire you to use a virtual tool in your classroom and in your setting. So I did just want to pop on and say, I am grateful for you for coming, and I hope you enjoy your time here. So as Dr. Shipley said, she did an awesome job with my introduction. So I'm not really going to add much more, but what I do want to say is these digital learning tools are truly making a difference. And I'm not bringing that to you via research. I'm not bringing that to you via, papers. I'm really just bringing it to you from my heart. And the reason is I've lived it. So I was in college when I started to become technically literate. So, and it really started at a very early time in my college. So from the beginning of my studies right to the very end, I realized that I started to rely more on technology. Then I became an elementary teacher, and I honestly was scared to use it because I wasn't sure how. I can remember my principal, Nancy Gallagher. I can remember her wheeling a document camera into my classroom and saying to me, you are going to be the one to try this out, and then you can show the other teachers how to use it, and then we'll all use this piece of technology. And at first, I honestly was panicked. And I was panicked because I wasn't sure how to use it. I wasn't sure what to do with it. I wasn't sure how I was going to supplement my instruction or replace my instruction. It honestly was taking up space, and I just wasn't sure. So then I turned it on one day and I kind of stuck my hands under it, and then I stuck a textbook under it. And before you know it, it became very comfortable for me. I started putting shared writing on there. I did layering science experiments, 3D objects. Our students would come up and show what they made at home. It just was a tool that all of a sudden supplemented my instruction. It made it better. So while I showed other teachers how amazing it was, secretly, I hid it behind my locker and cubby area because all of a sudden I wanted to use it more and more and more. So it came to the point where when I didn't have it in my classroom and someone else used it, I really kind of felt like I was at a disadvantage. And as I grew as an educator, and as I was in several leadership roles, I just kind of realized that digital tools were a part of my teaching. And guess what? I later became an online student, and it realized it became a part of my learning. So what I hope to accomplish here today is just give you an overview of a couple cool tools that you can use tomorrow in your classroom. So I hope that you can walk away tomorrow with something. The first thing I want to do is just figure out who's here. So you guys did a great job coming in and telling us where you're from, but what made you decide to join this session? Obviously it's the kickoff session for the conference, but what else intrigues you about this session? What are you excited to learn about? And I'm just going to kind of peek over the chat as I do move on, but I do just want to know, why are you here? Are you here for the ECE part, the tech side of it? Yeah, awesome. I love that. Erica, just knowing, yeah, that's great. How to use it with students, Dr. Shipley? Absolutely. ECE part, perfect. New information, awesome. And this helps us as we have the higher view of the conference, just to know where our audience members are coming from. I love recognizing so many names. This is cool. Oh, Lisa. Love it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So keep those going, okay?
Is a Rolodex.
Oops, sorry, hold on.
Yes. So
Hold on again. So what I want to do, and I present on technology often. Obviously, that is a passion for me. I often start my presentations with a comparison of technology and kind of how it's grown and shifted to become a need rather than a want, right? I think that we can agree that it's not going to go away, right? I think we're going to see our society progressing more towards the digital world. And we really want to make sure that we're in front of that as educators, right? So this clip is truly a straight up, not scripted video. We have Summer Hair in this, and it was just me trying to capture some real raw footage of my kiddos, you know, when I can. So one happens to be eating dinner, one snuck into my office when I was doing something else. So I just want to show you just a peek of today's society. So I have a 16-year-old on the left who you'll see first, and then I have an 18-year-old, and they had four or five questions that I asked them. What is a Rolodex? What is a rotary phone? What is a Walkman? What are yellow pages? And what is a phone jack? So those, believe it or not, were all considered technology tools of the past. So let's see how this goes.
Is a Rolodex.
A skateboard.
A skateboard. What is a rotary phone?
An old phone.
What's a Walkman?
A dude that walks.
What are Walkman?
A dude that walks.
What are yellow pages?
Yellow pages.
What are yellow pages?
Pages that are yellow.
What is a phone jack?
A jacket for your phone.
Okay, and now we have my 18-year-old.
Is a Rolodex. What's a rotary phone?
It's a phone where you spin.
What's a Walkman?
I don't know.
What are yellow pages?
Yellow pages. Like in the phone book?
What is a phone jack?
Don't tell me. I do know this one.
Phone jack.
All right, skip. I don't know this one.
So again, I just wanted to bring you this real raw moment. And it was in this moment that it actually hit me that the once new digital tools are memories of the past. They're barely identifiable to my children. Number one, it made me feel really old. But number two, it really hit home to me that we are in a technology revolution. And as educators, we have the frontline role in helping our children from ECE all the way on up to have exposure to these tools, right? They're not going away. So it's no longer a question of, you know, should we use technology, right? That's not the question anymore. It's, how and where can we implement digital tools in our environments to promote engaged, effective, and interactive learning. And key words right there, I'm going to kind of come back to. So then I started to kind of really think about, well, what about our families? Is every family like my boys? Do they have access? Would they know these? And I actually did the experiment with a couple other families, and same thing. These are indeed tools of the past. So I went back to some research and I looked at a 2019 study by the National Center for Education Statistics, the American Community Survey, and found that today, in 2019, 95% of 3 to 18-year-olds had home internet access, right? So given this knowledge, given what I just saw with my own 2 kiddos, I knew that we have to continue to move with this technology revolution, right? We can't move against it. We've got to move with it. And we have to differentiate our support for the families that might not have that internet. So we still, as educators, want to be mindful of that. But we also have to remember that these digital tools are here and they can help strengthen our partnerships. So here we are. Of course, as an educator, I have to bring you a little bit of research. So I'd be remiss to say that if I didn't address the fact that ECE and digital tools has always been a concern, I have to address that. So ultimately, we want to make sure that our digital tools are used and that they're developmentally appropriate and educationally sound. And again, a study from 2016 by the US Department of Education Early Learning and Education Technology Brief shows us 4 principles, gives us 4 principles. And these are still very much to date principles that we can follow as early childhood educators. Number 1, we just really want to make sure we're using these tools in a developmentally appropriate manner. And that goes straight across the board, whether it's technology we're talking about or curriculum. We always want to make sure in early childhood education, we are considering child development and developmentally appropriate practices. Okay, we are not going to replace teaching with technology. That's not what we want to do. We want to develop the mindset that we can use technology to supplement our instruction. We can increase learning activities. We can enhance learning activities for our children. Okay, we don't want to replace the role of an educator in any developmental level. We want to make sure we are enhancing the role for them and enhancing our opportunities for our children, okay? We also wanna make sure that we're using it in an effective manner. We're using it to build relationships, okay? Social media is such a big thing today. How are we using these digital tools available to us to make our relationships and our communication with our families, our communities, our children, and our stakeholders better? And finally, this one's huge. We wanna make sure we're using it in a hands-on, interactive, engaging approach, okay? So that is going to be very key, and I'm going to hit upon that. So what we do know, we know our children, again, they're on average about 2 hours a day on digital media, okay? And actually that's a little dated because since the pandemic, we've actually found that this number is increasing. So we wanna make sure that we are intentionally designing quality digital learning experiences for our kiddos, okay? Our families are busy, okay? Now more than ever, it's diversified. And we wanna make sure that they're connected to education, but sometimes there's variables that can pose barriers for this. So digital tools have been actually shown to increase engagement for our children as well as our families. So I've been very mindful with my wording and I've pointed that out 2 or 3 times. And the reason is we do want to make sure when I say digital tools, it is not the non-interactive ones. So it's not, giving our youngest kiddos videos and television and technology and just giving them more passive screen time, right? We don't want that. We know the research behind that says that that is not helpful in their learning. What we want to do, again, going back to that intentional wording, we want to make sure we are providing them with intentional, high quality learning activities and digital resources and engagement that increase access to different worlds, right? We want to make sure that we're utilizing digital tools that allow them to be active, engaged, connective, okay? That's what we want. We want them to be empowered to use their own learning and their own ownership over their learning with the latest technology. So today I'm going to share mostly interactive technology, right? But I'm also going to share one professional resource that is a bit more static. And the reason is there are students who are here. I recognize a lot of students from my classes that are here that do want resources that they're going to be able to use as professionals, right? So if we can use these tools as professionals, it helps us also. And again, we want to make sure we're using them for the benefit of ourselves as professionals. So as we move on, here's what I'm bringing to you today. I am super excited to be able to give you access to some pretty cool things. So Edutopia describes digital tools in the classroom, and this is a direct quote. At its best, so digital tools at their best, a teacher doesn't stop to think that he or she is using the technology tool, right? It is second nature, okay? And students more often actively engage in projects where technology is a seamless part of the learning process. The digital tools that I'm going to share with you today are my favorite. And my goal is to give you a year's worth of ideas that you can truly download today and implement tomorrow if you'd like. I'm going to speak a little bit more about how to do this later, but today I'm going to give you access to templates that you can truly download and edit to your role, your focus, your interest area, and just edit and manipulate those to put to work tomorrow if you choose. Okay, so the first one, we're going to jump right into the year, September, right? It's September. You guys are just getting into the classrooms, maybe August for some, but you're just getting into the classrooms and you want to create a community, right? That's one of the first things you're going to do as an educator. So of course, we have our community in class, which is so very important. As a supplement to that, we have the opportunity to create a virtual learning community. And this virtual learning community can be housed, I just give you one example, on a site that allows you to put things here for your families. Remember I said our families were busy, right? They can have access to this online community 24/7, right? So they can click on this, they can see there's your welcome screen, maybe there's a little about you, there's your bio. They have access to this. You can manipulate everything on here. Again, this is just a template that I will provide you with at the end. So every piece of text you see can be clicked on and edited for what your vision is, okay? So it might say, about us at the top. It might be our classroom, our community, or even our children. The beauty of this is you can create as many of these as you want, and just using this one basic template, okay? So here you have 6 pages of this website or this community to start you off, and it can just serve simply as a foundation. So you'll click the link and you'll see it just will download to your personal email or your personal, and it's free. So you have immediate accessibility to it. From there, you can edit, you can add documents, you can add photos, you can add videos, you can add hyperlinks, you can add anything that you want. As a matter of fact, you can take every single thing that you're given in this workshop and go ahead and add it and have just this digital file cabinet or digital hub right after this. So this classroom community is neat because you can change the privacy settings on it so that if you do want to do separate folders for each of your children, they are just confidential folders for it. You can change the privacy settings on it so that you can maintain confidentiality for your students. But guess what? You're also increasing accessibility for your families. So let's say we have a student, James, in a classroom, and he does a really great drawing of a football field and a football player. And we really want James's family to see this, but they are not able to come into the classroom. We are then able to put it into a virtual folder. James's family only has the password for that folder, and it's very easy to set up. And they can click in there and they can see his writings, his dictation, his pictures, whatever. They can click in that folder. And again, it's just a real easy user-friendly setup. So everything on here is a starting point for you. You have the ability to edit it and you have the ability to make it yours. There are graphics there. If you want to keep the graphics, they are free graphics. Everything that I've presented today is of free value, so you can reuse. Families they want that gap between home and school closed, right? But reality of it is, let's be honest, they're busy. We're all working and it's very hard to kind of connect the two worlds. So this access is great. What I love is on the bottom right, you can see that little box and it shows phone, tablet, and computer, mobile, tablet, and computer. This platform also allows you to add from multiple sources and is user-friendly for those that are using have accessibility from mobile devices, tablets, and their computers. And again, when we think about that 95%, there's 5% of our students that do not have home access. So here we go. We are creating something that they can get to on their phone, okay? So this is our first little September warm up. Hope you've jumped in with me and are ready to continue on. So October school's underway. You know, we're trying to really kind of focus on getting to know our kiddos and our families. And we really, again, want to bridge that gap between home and school. So on the screen, you can see this cute little Padlet that allows for us to have this virtual bookshelf for our children and our families. So the cool thing about this is it is easily customizable. So I've only started it, right? This is it. You can add titles, you can add summaries, you can add, again, student work, you can add links, you can add families, you can add videos to ReadAlouds, which are always super cool. You can also see that it allows families to comment. So if I go home and read Brown Bear, Brown Ware, What Did You See with Connor and I can then talk through, hey, what happened? What was the sequence of events in this? And he can say, I really liked how this story, you know, was descriptive. I really liked they could use colors. So we are allowing our families to have this connection to our classroom. The thing that I love about this is that there's a huge comfort zone here, right? Sometimes our families are intimidated by school and classrooms. This is a very comfortable manner where they can go and maybe we have families who are learning second languages, or we have families who are dealing with illiteracy. We can make sure we have resources on here that supplement that. So they can then hear a model of fluency and prosody and intonation when reading, and they can hear models of ReadAlouds, which is really great. We can do vocabulary activities on here. There are so many activities that we can put on here and again, build together. Now, if you see, I titled, I guess you can't see it on this one, but I had titled and you'll see it when you open this template up. To the right, there was one that's like students' choice or students' suggestions. We can have our students then. How fun is it? My fifth graders always used to say, hey, read this book. Hey, watch this movie. And you know what? They were more apt to listen to their buddies than the teacher. So it's cool when our littlest can then say, go read Wacky Wednesday. Okay. This is a great starting point. I tried to pull from a template that was really great preschool, just tried and true literacy, some, old classics and some new ones on here. The cool thing about it is, again, you're just going to pick this up. You're going to download the template and then you can make it say whatever you want it. Okay. So if your program, maybe you have, pre-K 1, 2, or vice versa, your classroom. If you're a leader, again, you can make this for, curriculum, math, STEM, and change your headings to curriculum. You can really make this anything you want. And again, the thing that I love about it is it's easily accessible, it's organized, and honestly, it's user-friendly. I'm going to go to the next page where you can see, so this is a tab that I added, and I will tell you, I added this yesterday at the 10th hour, just because I wanted to see how easy it actually was to even add more. And it is so easy. You're able to put, again, ReadAlouds. This just happened to be a ReadAloud that I added on here. And again, it sticks, it's a template. It is great for families. Again, you can do this thematic unit, but it is something that goes to families. You're allowed to have 3 virtual bookshelves. So you're allowed to have basically 3 of these pin boards for free. So that's always I know as teachers, I'm always struggling to kind of find the free things. And this is one of them. So I love that. Okay, so November, you can see November goes back to a classic, and that's our newsletter. And you'll also see the hosting site for this that I used to make it was Canva. And Canva is kind of embedded throughout this presentation. And I'll tell you, it is something that I now consider a need. I can't really live without it. And the reason is actually this presentation was made on Canva. It is something that just has so many purposes. And as an educator, I find myself going to it more and more often. And in this case, I used it to make the November digital newsletter. Now, I always like a good newsletter, right? I am a little bit picky about my formatting on things. For those of you that know me, know that. So I can tell you it is awesome to start with something already, a template, a format. This was exactly it. I could change the pictures. I could add links, and I could put this in my virtual community. The cool thing about this is there are a ton of templates. in there already. There are a ton of free templates in there, but if all else, you have this one as a starting point. You can add live links, you can add additional resources, and you can send it home to the parents via email. And that's cool because again, they are busy. They might not always get the paper from their child's bag. But again, thinking about differentiating for that 5%, we are able to print this out and we're able to send it home to families. So you have access to the template, but you can be modified according to the vision and send home a print copy and an electronic copy. So it really does make it user-friendly and accessible. All right, let's keep going. So December is always one of my favorite months and one that we want to kind of bring people in. And again, just one that we are more mindful of connecting our families and building our classroom community. So a great way we can do this is just making some sort of a shared book. And for this one, I did a recipe book. I'm a great cook. No, just kidding. I am not a great cook, but I love reading recipes and I pinned 9,000 recipes on Pinterest. Probably I'm never going to make any of them, but I just love reading recipes. And that is something that a lot of people have in common. That's something we can pull from every one of our family. If you close your eyes and think about what is your favorite part of Thanksgiving meal, what is your favorite part of Christmas, there's probably something that comes up in your mind. It's often that way with our families. So this is just a great tool to come up with a shared recipe book. It's just a simple link to a template that you can send out to your families. And it allows the families to really just click and add text. It's really neat because it allows them to drag and drop. They can drag and drop from their pictures. They can upload if they choose to. They can even add a video of them doing the experience, which is so great because then you can see parts of their home, and obviously their comfort level is going to deem what they share, but they can take the box off. It's just a template that's a great starter point. Again, we want to be mindful that these activities are interactive and what they're doing is bringing families together. And I think you can see that this one indeed does that. The cool part about this is the process is something that you're sharing with your families and you're having that time and you're valuing that time. But bigger than that, guess what? You're going to have this classroom book that then hopefully your kiddos can click on this link once it's all done and you've brought them all together. And again, very easy process of just adding the links together. In the template, you'll see you add the page and the links. So, but once this is done, you have an entire classroom recipe book. And think about if you did print this out, okay? And you laminated it, and again, you put it over in your literacy center, or you put it over in your cooking center so your kiddos can go to the dramatic play center and open it up and make their recipe from home, right? Again, the cool part about this is the families who may not have access to technology or may not be as comfortable, you can print this template out. They can write their recipes. They might upload a picture or print a picture on there, but they still feel like they're included, right? And then you can also just take a picture of it and put it in digital format. So every template I give you, really you have the option as an educator to print it out and send it home to them and then retake the picture and upload it, okay? So again, we're not real worried about the product as much as the process, but actually in this case, both are just really as valuable in the world of education. So we're going to move on to January, and January is a fun month because everybody is excited, right? We have this new excitement for new learning. Kiddos come back after usually an extended vacation, and it's just a really perfect time for us to refocus on literacy. And now we know our kids, right? We have a firm grasp of where they stand and we're ready to kind of jump in and differentiate instruction. So what we want to do is, again, we're not using this digital resource to not use this digital resource to take the place of, substitute, but rather to supplement. So say we're doing an alphabet activity. What we can do with this is we can send this link to our families and they can work on creating these alphabet books, okay? So in preschool, that's a huge component of the literacy area. And as we send this link to them, they can work on building this. So I can tell you, young children can sit down and they can click on the text. You see how easy it is. So a family member sitting next to them, they see the arrow, and our kids know that little pointer thing here means you click on it. Trust me, they do. So they click on that and they can add, some of your books might have full sentences, right? A is for apples that I make apple pie with. Some preschool kids are going to be writing sentences. Others may just have words. Others may just have the script that shows they are in the beginning writing process. So the cool part about it is each digital storybook is going to be specific to that child. It is going to be differentiated. Story Jumper is a great site in the fact that you can also voice record. Okay, so let's go to the next one. You can hear. So once they finish, you get the idea, but once they finish, they are actually able to have a completed storybook. That again, they can have access to online. So it's cool because you are also able to see the progression. Some students may have this storybook complete, the week they get it. Other students may just truly be working on it. Other students may have pictures, and it's just neat because there are so many options here based on your child. So parents can voice record. And the cool part about it is that you are able to use the online version for free, but then if parents choose to buy it, if it's a book, that they want to purchase, they have that option later, and it kind of takes you out of it. The other cool part is you're able to go in and say, wow, this is just an awesome job, Roxana. I love how your family really looked at nature to find all the alphabet letters. Okay, so it's neat because you can have that online version and your families are involved in the process. It is interactive. It is not replacing your alphabet instruction, but it is supplementing it at home in a very easy way. I am reading the chat as we go along, and I love the enthusiasm. Oops, let's keep going. Okay, phew. So sometimes technology doesn't work and it's frustrating, but in that moment it did. So let's move on to February. We have our kids and families, and they're here, and we're still trying to build these homeschool connections, and we think we know them, but what we want to do is really make sure we're spotlighting all of our families. We know we have those families that we know a little better. We have those children that we might not know as much. So this is just a great point to stop and do a mid-year bulletin board, whether it be online through this digital bulletin board, or again, we are able to print these out. We send families this digital template and they fill it out. We can send the families who do not have access to digital, we can send a printout of this, and they can then type write their information on it, send it back. And it's really great for us to just kind of get to know each other, really tailored again and on a comfort level. Our families can complete this together at home and then again, send it back. We can share it on a pin board. We can print it out and share it on a bulletin board in our classroom. And again, one of my favorites, honestly, is sending this home to our families digitally. So they will click where the text is and go ahead and add their pictures. They're going to go ahead and add their fun fact. They might add their little story over on the side, and then they're going to send it back to you, the template back to you via email, you can also share it within the app. They're going to send this back to you. You can print this out and you can put this book in your literacy center. So now they've done something at home. You've used this digital literacy tool, this digital tool to connect with our families. You've drawn families into the curriculum, and then you've printed it out for use in your classroom. I see we have a yoga instructor here. How cool would it be if you had, what's your family's favorite yoga pose, and have them write about it, or how do you do yoga at home, or just some way to connect with those that you work with. Okay. So kiddos, maybe they show, let's see your pose of the week. And then they have their pose of the week and they write about how they all did it together as a family, or you just set this up with a template. It really can be whatever you want it to be. The goal is that engaging, interactive connection with the families using this tool that they can access. So this template will also be available. Okay, this is the fastest I've ever gone through a school year. So we're in March now, right? And we know our families, we know our curriculum, and we're just really excited about these digital tools. Well, they know you're going to be sending things home, and they know that they're going to get things digitally. So why not get them ready for summer by giving them, here are the best of the best. I know as a new mom, I was Googling things. I didn't, there's really kind of no textbook for it. So it was one of those things how long, should my child be on the computer? What are some of the best websites? What are the reviews on these websites? Is it free? Are there ads? Even when YouTube came out, the teacher too came out. It was one of those things that I certainly was researching. What I loved is where recommendations came. So whether it be from a colleague or another parent, I always loved that. So Canva, again, allows for this digital poster feature that you can send to families. You can do it weekly, you can do it monthly. Here's the kicker. Here's my favorite thing to do. If you send this template to families, have them share a new app. Have them share a digital tool. If they're finding something, maybe it's a video from National Geographic on tigers, they can put this into this little template and send it back to you. And you can put it over on the corner, what's new on your board outside to share with other families. We are, again, just transmitting information, and it's some way to connect us. If you're using that virtual learning community, you can post it right there. And all you have to do is, again, just click in the box, and you're going to tailor it based on what students put in there. But you might have a child who realizes Fish School is a great resource, and he wants to share this with his buddies, and he wants it to go up on either the digital bulletin board or the bulletin board in your classroom. And he prints out this neat little template. All he has to do is just change the title. And again, he might not have as much text. I just gave you an example of one you might send home to families. So again, they can fill in this template and you can add it to your digital virtual learning community. So we're heading into April, and this one is a little bit different focus. Again, I mentioned that in the beginning. So I really want to make sure that I'm mindful. There are students in here, so I want to make sure I'm mindful of sharing tools that you can also use as a professional. Again, I went to that Canva website, tons of free templates for you to use as an educator, as a professional, that really do create just great experiences and opportunities for your learners, but also for you as a professional. There are several digital tools there that you can use. So this is just a very basic, simple resume, okay? Obviously, a lot of you are going to be entering the professional world, and you might need that resume. Again, I spoke a little bit to formatting and font and aesthetically looking professional resume to get out there. And this is really a cool template because it's simple. And again, all you have to do is just tailor the text, okay? You can change the background, then also you can add hyperlinks, you can add text, and you can truly add this to your virtual learning community. Starting point for you, but I just wanted you to have that there. There are several templates there on Canva for you to access and use and just make your own. Okay, so this is where I'm going out on a limb a little, and I am not sure. Let me just glance if he's here. I am not sure. I went to see a presenter who actually inspired me. And as we wrap up the school year, I just really wanted to share a resource with you that is brand new, and I'm just trying it today for the first time. And I am going to go out on a limb and we're going to kind of sneak over. So if you see on the website address, www.slido.com, if you go ahead and open a different browser and click on that, and then you'll see the blue box, I think it's probably around the mid of your screen, where it says enter a code. There's a code on the screen. Slido.com, what you see on the screen, is actually a great place that you are able to make a word cloud. And I love word clouds. I love Wordles. It just allows us to capture thoughts, feelings, words, sentences, short statements from that for things that might be meaningful. Okay. Well, this new technology allows us to do it in a real-time manner. So once you plug in this code, it opens you up to a question that I had asked. And then you can just answer, and then it immediately will create this real-time word cloud. I think it will. We'll see if it works based on what your answers are. So we have some participants in here. I hope we can at least get maybe 25 or so, but think about sending this, and it's real easy to make. Send this link, and all you need to do is put the Slido in the code. So all parents would need was www.slido.com and the code, and you could ask them, ask your child what his favorite book was this week. What was the best website this week? What is the favorite song? What is their finger play? You can ask parents anything. Now, you can choose to publish this at a later date, or you can choose to just use this for your own knowledge. But it's neat because it it pulls it in. Yeah, just like pull everywhere. Yes, exactly. It pulls it in as anonymous information. So, and again, it gives you that real time. So say on a Friday, you just had a great learning week about butterflies. And then you send this to your parents, the slider to your parents with the code, and you say, what is something you see this weekend in nature that is the same color as the butterflies that we saw in the classroom. And again, it just connects to the learning, to the home. And again, it allows us to hear voices. It might be blocked. There are some of these sources that I send to you that might be blocked by schools. Hopefully you have a home computer and you can just try it. But yeah, that's a great point. So I'm going to check that at the end, and if it's working, hopefully I will be able to share it with you. But the most exciting overview is right here. So that's a school year in just a real quick hot minute, but digital tools that you can use. I'm sure your mind is spinning. I talk very fast. I hope it's spinning. But as I promised you, the most important thing for me as a presenter today was just to give you access to these templates, right? These cool digital tools to use tomorrow. So everything is available to you. Everything is free. All you'll have to do is click it. It brings you right to where you need to be. You may have to sign up for a free account, but everything is just there for you to access, okay? So on the ECE site that you entered to get here, that you had found the registration for, if you go over to the right, I added a reference page, and I did these this morning, so they're all there. You have every single one of these templates for you. So click it, download it, edit it, make it your own. Feel free to use it tomorrow. And I just wanted to give you these as a starting point. So as you begin to be more comfortable and explore tools, there's tons of templates out there, but I can tell you that this is just something that is just a great starting point. I don't know why some of the words are in blue and gray, but I will look at that as I go over. So in closing, okay, we have this awesome virtual learning community. And again, it was something that started, and it's just truly grown and blossomed. And it's something we really adore, not because we adore it, but because it's being used. This community continues to grow. It includes our ECE site, which you have access to, and I'll put in the chat after. And it has resources and tools that we highlighted. In addition, we also have our YouTube channel, which houses now thousands of hours of good professional development videos on a wide range of topics, okay? Tons of different topics there, from ECE to just owning a childcare program, to potty training, to meals, to technology, to the administrative parts of it, to curriculum, to everything. So we continue to go and add to that. Our monthly speaker series, the ECE speaker series, is housed there. All the conference presentations for the past 2 years are housed there. If you're not able to attend in real time and you really wanted to get to one, those are housed there. And finally, our newest edition, the one that is newest for us and we're excited about, is the Early Childhood Chatter podcast, and that is available on all major podcast hosting sites. It is about a 10-minute podcast that gives you some great information for some really innovative resources and experts in the field. So it just allows us to connect to so many on a diversified level. So this network continues to grow. And we love the outreach we have from students, professionals, and educators around the world. Again, welcome Australia in here, Nepal. It is great. I saw tons of different US states. These outlets just allow us to do that. And we are grateful for the continued growth. So as we close, I am going to just kind of sneak over to that Wordle. So I'll stop sharing for just a minute. And I will then, I put my email here. I really just want to thank you for being here. And I want to say, I hope you will join us for the next 3 days and sessions. I hope this was valuable. I do think our virtual learning community continues to grow, and it's something we're super proud of. And we hope that you'll come back and be a part of our podcast. You'll be part of our network, our YouTube channel, and all those fun things as we continue to grow it. If you have ideas, please feel free to send those to us. I'm going to kind of swap over and put the Google site address up, and I am also going to check that Word presentation. Oh yeah, I am going to display that. you know what? I'm going to show you the real time on it. So it's not going to be a pretty view, but I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like. Let's see. Okay, so this is what it looks like. You can see over on the side, you can see the words added in there. I'm not sure why they have changed, but it is really cool to see. So again, kind of audible on this. I have to thank Mr. Willie Spears for showing me this. It seems like it's real neat, but just envision sending this link home. And like I said, it was real simple, sending this link home to families and, you know, ask your child how they are feeling about the week. You know, what was their favorite center throughout the classroom, and just have them bring back that information. And just, it's so valuable. And greater than that, it lets our families know that we want to hear their voice, right? I want to hear your voice. I wanted to know what you were excited about with the conference, what you're excited about with this presentation. So these are just a little glimmer, high level overview of digital tools. Don't be scared of them, because eventually you're not going to want to give that digital camera cart back. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your time, your morning with me. And I am super excited to be here for the rest of the conference.